Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. In the pre market this morning, stock index futures are down across the board. We also have gold trading lower, while crude oil is up 30, 40 cents last time I checked. Now, this week is a fairly quiet week when it comes to economic numbers. Nothing significant coming out until Wednesday afternoon. And then on Thursday, we get initial jobless claims. So far on Monday morning, it looks like we may see some selling at the open. Now, on Friday, the U.S. markets were closed. Canadian markets were open. I try to tell people that if you're in Canada, you're trading the Canadian market. Don't do anything on a day in which the U.S. market is closed. This is a chart of Shopify, and Shopify has an average volume of a little over 2 million shares. On Friday, we traded 346,000 shares. As I always say, and it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, the golf courses were full on Friday, as most of the people on Bay Street were out golfing. Looking at stock in the news this morning, and that's Tesla. Tesla's coming into Monday already on a sell signal. It's down in the pre-market this morning, down trading back below the $200 level. If we look at this chart, we've been sitting in the flypaper channel for the past few days, but notice that since the middle of April, we've been in a range, and that range is fairly contracted. And now we're looking to see if we can break out above the recent lower high, or if we're going to take out the recent low. And of course, whatever breakout we see, that's probably where we're heading next. Of course, if you're bullish, you want to see a breakout above for a run back up to the high from last December. If you're bearish, you're looking for a breakdown and a challenge, a retest of the March, April lows. And that could certainly start to happen this week. Looking at the VIX for the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Russell are all still on sell signals. That is supportive for higher stock prices. Looking at the Russell here, we traded in the channel last week, and so the Russell may be the first of the VIX indices to generate buy signals going forward. Looking at the major index ETFs, starting off in the U.S., there's the Vanguard Total Market ETF making a new all-time high on Friday. That's also true for the Dow, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq. Now, the Russell 2000, the small caps, and the micro caps all look like they're doing well at the moment, which they are, but they're certainly nowhere near all-time highs right now. Now, anytime that you see the micro caps doing well, that's the risk on trade. That is a bullish sign for the market. And let's hope that continues. Now, U.S. energy stocks are on a buy signal coming into Monday's trading action. Financials hitting a new high, bank stocks hitting a new high. Gold stocks came back on Thursday to generate a buy signal. I would wave that off this morning and just sit on my hands and wait for the next close above the upper channel line. And then semiconductors making a new high on Thursday. Now, we saw the TSX make a new high after new high after new high last week. There's the iShares for the TSX 60 at a new all-time high. Same with the Vanguard Canada ETF. Here's the iShares World ETF. So this is everything but Canada, holding up fairly well at the moment. And there's small cap stocks. There's the Venture Exchange. We can't trade the Venture Exchange, but we know that if it's doing well, that's the risk on trade, and that tells us that the average investor is fairly bullish at the moment. Now, there's Canadian energy stocks. Looks like we're trying to hold support here at $17. Still on a sell signal, no change in trend expected on Monday. There's Canadian financials, Canadian banks doing well. And there's gold stocks back on a buy signal as of Friday's close. I would sit on my hands on Monday and see how things turn out, see if we can get another close above the upper channel line on Monday before I would take any action in the gold sector. And last up, we've got Canadian tech stocks, and you can see that little dot at the end. That was Friday's trading action. Very quiet day on Friday with the U.S. markets closed. Certainly nowhere near a daily sell signal coming into Monday's trading action. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to cover on this morning's presentation. We're coming in with on a very bullish tone. July is usually a bullish month for the market. The market looks like it wants to take a little break on Monday morning, and we'll have to see if there's any fall through to the downside throughout the week. But so far, everything looks fairly bullish. Enjoy the rest of your day. Next time you'll hear my voices on Tuesday morning, and in that time we'll walk through the most actively traded stocks from Monday's trading action.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.